All of the internet and whole smartphone industry are on the edge of civil war. Civil war with fucking nuclear weapon. Most internet servers and all Android phones run on Linux as its core, and just now we met with some of the best developers and a bunch of important code. Cat, what are you talking about? Linus Torvalds got harassed by SJW into apologizing for his being rude in the past.
And NVIDIA has been the single worst company we've ever dealt with. So NVIDIA, fuck you.
Yes, this guy, the head of Linux community and one of its founding fathers. First Linus apologized, then apologized and apologized again, and then kowtowed by signing so-called Code of Conduct. And
I'm out of here.
Code gives a wide list of unacceptable behaviors that you get purged for, like insulting comments, personal attacks, political attacks, sexual language, and unwelcome attention.
Fuck you.
The code is written by progressive girl. Well, it was a guy, but now he's a girl, Caroline Emke, who already campaigned few communities into taking it, and now she came for Linux. Yes, that's a beautiful girl, and if you don't agree, you are fucking transphobe. And if you do agree, you give her unwanted attention, so if you are a Linux contributor, just don't look on your face. Before Code of Conduct, it was Code of Conflict in church, written by Linux himself. Talks are cheap, show me the code. Now they gonna ban you for any misbehavior in your personal life, in your past, maybe for criticizing Hillary, and even for Pepe the Frog memes. Doing it with IT community like introducing the sentence for sodomy in San Francisco. Developers are rude, they are harsh, development isn't made of soy milk and honey. Now since everybody are guilty, their career depends on few snowflakes getting offended or not. Okay, let's look on few communities that already adopted this code. Maybe it's not so bad, maybe they're just bigots, harassers, abusers, and so on who are getting purged, right? The Code of Conduct is a powerful witch hammer, but it has totally no restrictions. One of the most famous victims was Larry Garfield, a contributor of Drupal. He got purged literally for proven to be false accusations. The story started with somebody sharing his profile on BDSM website. Sharing personal information is forbidden by the code, but you know it. He started getting threats from people to leave community, or he may have problems. Hell, that's prohibited too, but you guess it. Then he was excommunicated without even explaining the reason behind this. Administration motivated with confidential information, not even giving him a right to defend himself. When it became too awkward, Drupal administration claimed he is a rapist and didn't prove that in any way at all. But it's okay since it's no presumption of innocence in the code too. Instead of some formal prosecution proving his guilt, he was forced to defend himself, taking off the public a lot of the very embarrassing information about his personal life. Oh, believe me, it was really embarrassing. He was even checked by police that proved he didn't commit any crime at all, and his relations with his girlfriend were totally consensual, but the code also doesn't force administration to believe in any proofs at all. In our case, that's even worse. The first attack started on one of the Linux maintainers, Theo Tso. He is an author of Linux random generator used in its cryptography and so in data protection. Also, he harshly opposed Intel Corporation, who wanted generator to rely just on specific processor instruction that could give Intel a potential backdoor. Attack accuses him for being rape apologist for just pointing three specific researches, gerrymandering with data classifications. I don't have an idea why SJW are so centered on sex like some kind of neo-Puritans. If you make fake accusations, why don't you call him a Russian spy or a mass murderer or karmic reincarnation of Hitler after all? His voting against Code of Conduct is also added to accusations, and no wonder. People report that happening before in FreeBSD community, where any opposition to the code was getting banned in discussion right after its acceptance. Good job, comrades! So right now Linux community stands on the edge of the giant witch hunt. Witch hunt done by private companies and progressive lefts together over the free software developers. And yeah, I see that irony too. And in the next few months we would see if Linux community would fall to it or it would stand. But all of that was just a foreplay, and here's an action. Any Linux contributor has a right to revoke his code, literally to prohibit using it at the next versions forever. And if it happens, community should not just rewrite the code, but to rewrite it in the different ways so it wouldn't violate his intellectual rights. Every unfairly accused developer may just burn the house down by taking his code off. And in every conflict from now, it's an attempt to accuse your opponent of being a bigot, so he would get banned. That's just a recipe of catastrophe, and we're gonna see it right now. If Linux community wouldn't show a great patience, its conflicts would become like street gang wars with nuclear weapon. It's like a witch hunt where every burnt witch spreads a plague. Soon Linux kernel would look like a Swiss cheese of broken code, with holes in the code and half of community burned by inquisition it would never recover. Okay, now what would probably happen with this? First, not so much people would get really purged, if any at all. Since everybody are guilty, companies and SJW would threat developers into submission for more backdoors for them. Harsh Linux-style discussions would get replaced with polite discontent mewing on each other, killing the discussions and making the code shittier. Here's the deal. Without for-profit stimulus in Linux community, only unleashed discussions could create the same competitive pressure as the free market does for Microsoft or Apple. And now it's gone. I'm not saying we are living in Atlas Shrugged dystopia, but John Gao just came for Linux. Thank you for watching. Now press like, dislike, and write in the comments below what do you think about the code of conduct and about my harsh barrier accent. See ya.
In response to Pat's reviews that they should be retroactively aborted.
Right.
And maybe that you're surprised that they're still alive because they should have starved to death when they were children because they were too stupid to find a tit to suck on.
I agree that some people might be put off by that. You know what? In the end, I don't care, right? I care about technology, and I've actually seen projects that took the whole political correctness so far that the project no longer is about the technology. I mean, you can applaud everything you want, but I don't respect people unless I think they deserve the respect. There are people who think that respect is something that should be given, and I happen to be one of the people who am perfectly happy saying no. Respect should be earned.